All right. Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hi. I've done it too many times. So, Wednesday, consult day, lesson of the day. We had two topics to talk about. I only have 7 minutes because we have a live session with Dr. Onir Spiegel coming up. So, the two things that I saw today during my consults, actually 3 times each. One of them was high eyelid incisions or eyelid scarring, let's talk about. And then the other one was the line of declaration on the lip. So we'll talk about both of those. Line of declaration on the lip is a line that I named. Thanks, guys. Nice compliment. So it's a line that forms on people's lips when they smile. And I had a patient who came in the morning who asked, what do I do about this line? And I said, well, you can do Botox, which will make your lip look ridiculous. And then her face changed. And then I said, or you can do a lip lift and it gets rid of it. And the reason her face changed is because she had done Botox and it made her lip look flaccid and made it worse. So not a good idea. Lip lift can be done. And I'll show you the line that I'm talking about. She was very kind and allowed me, she's a super, super beautiful girl, allowed me to show her photo here so you can see this is the line that I'm talking about. So we call this the line of declaration because it declares to somebody who's doing a lip lift typically where to start the lip lift, because everything above this line can be considered excess on most people. So that is not an absolute. It's something that we really have to negotiate around and look at, but this is called the line of declaration. And you can see it goes all the way from here to here. So why does this happen? It happens for many reasons. In her case, it happened because she had a little rhinoplasty and there's a piece of cartilage in there called a columellar strut. If a columellar strut goes to the nasal spine and touches the nasal spine, that changes your natural anatomy. And we do it because we have to keep the nose projected sometimes, but it changes your natural anatomy. Your natural anatomy has your medial crural foot plates, as wrapping around the septum, and then when you smile, they can slide back. When you have a columellar strut in between it, it can't do that anymore. The other thing is if somebody does a transfixion incision and you lose support on your nasal tip, your lip can actually drop, and again, you form some strain as things come up. So I have gone in on on lip lift and reduced the base of the columellar strut if it wasn't needed, and then they can smile again. And otherwise, when you do a rhinoplasty revision and you suspend them with something called a tongue and groove maneuver, these tend to go away also on most people. So if you do a lip lift, you can cut everything above that and get rid of it. Everything above that is in excess, and there's a strain across that muscle line, which is called the orbicularis muscle. So if you do a lip lift, you end up raising it to a higher position, and on most people it disappears. Second lady I saw had a really, really low line, and she needed a lip lift, and doing a lip lift of any height would decrease the strain of her smile. But if I had taken that much on her because she was a thin, skinny white lady, it would actually make her look skeletonized. So I told her, we can't fully correct this. I will leave the line there. It'll just sit closer to your nose. However, you won't form the deep crease anymore, meaning when you smile, it won't strain and pull in anymore. So you will get a benefit out of it regardless. Don't worry about that. So that was in her case. And then the first patient, I told her you cannot do a lip lift even though you have this because you already show too much teeth at rest. And if I do this, you're going to end up having trouble closing your mouth afterwards. So as far as gummy smile goes, lip lifts really change your tooth show in repose. When you smile big and you get a gummy smile, it tends to actually, a lip lift can decrease a gummy smile because you're not smiling as big anymore to get your lip up. So nasolabial folds get lighter on people after a big lip lift. The strain on the smile gets less, and the gummy smile and kind of gum show gets less after a lip lift. This is if a lip lift is done properly. So that's the line of declaration. The other thing was the high eyelid incisions. I saw 3 patients with high and weird eyelid incisions. And these were placed there because either the surgeon doesn't fully understand where an eyelid incision should go, which is the place that you remove the most excess, or they, for some reason, thought that they could improve a brow ptosis issue with an upper eyelid surgery. So these patients, if you look at someone's crease here, you can see I have a supratarsal crease. You see where my eye folds right there, where it sits? At me, that's just over 9 millimeters. So that's my alarm keeps going off. So that's where you place the bottom of the incision, and you take whatever is excess above that in the granular eyelid skin. Granular means it has, it's actually porous. It has sebaceous glands. And then it gets a smooth skin, which is brow skin. So you typically just want to remove that skin and then follow it across outwards and around and go back. The two I saw today were all the way up here and then all the way going up that way because they wanted to remove some excess brow skin with it, which is not a good idea. Brow lift should take care of brow problems. Eyelid should take care of eyelid problems. You never try to fix a brow problem with an eyelid surgery. The other reason this patient had a scar, the third one, was very likely because they removed muscle at the same time. And when you remove muscle underneath and then don't put the skin and the muscle back together, then it's just skin with no muscle. And the color, the refraction of light changes. So when you look at a regular eyelid, it's got muscle underneath and that redness reflects to you. So you end up seeing a nice skin tone over there. Otherwise it turns white if you don't put the muscle back together. So that's it. I got to run. I'm going to go live again in a minute with Dr. Onir Spiegel, but that is today's lesson of the day.